Apologies again for getting all messed up on the dates. That's a pattern in my working life. When I jumped out of Ulster Bank and went down this road, I had real trouble putting on events, speaking to the general public or whatever. Attracting the general public. And I mention that because somehow or other, I'm creating the problem. There is no other problem other than in me and how I do that. Now, it could be just something technical that I don't know how to do. Absolutely. I'm not going to give myself a whole bunch of labels. But I also know within that when I go to do this, I become quite unresourceful. I see myself as someone who, when they put their mind to a thing, they get it done, I achieve things. There's so many examples of that, but equally there's so many examples of when I put my mind to a thing, sometimes my mind doesn't click into the right gear, or sometimes it just doesn't even get started. So I'm in a place where I'm thinking, right, okay, well, what are the deep patterns? You see, where self-hypnosis is concerned, there might be a need to dehypnotize ourselves before we then engage in self-hypnosis for the new outcome that we want to have. So it's about outcomes. It's about identifying what it is that you want and building that, and what you see, what you hear, what you feel, how you connect to values and resourceful beliefs and an identity that will see you achieving the outcome. And then, okay, there's a couple of things here to tidy up, and that's the less resourceful me that is operating there. And that's not to judge, that's who I was then. This is who I will be in the future. So it's a powerful, powerful thing. It's something, as I've said in a previous video, we all already know how to do. We all already know it. I'm convinced more and more and more that, when people talk about trance, they think, right, okay. It's not about that. It just isn't, Have you ever experienced anxiety about some future event that hasn't happened? Have you got yourself all wound up? That's you doing that. That's the only person involved. Of course, you might have people to the side, putting in their threepence worth, but by and large, it's what we do in here. So I'll get a new date organised, absolutely, and hopefully see that. I'm also thinking about, how I change the structure. It'll be one date perhaps, a one-day event, with then follow-ups. This is something that requires practice, and I'd like to hang around and help you practice so that you get it and you use it in the way that it can be used.